Welcome to Random Movie Reviews. I'm Nathan, and today I'll be talking about 5 great Thanksgiving movies. So, unlike the month of October, where you can watch horror movies all month long due to Halloween, Thanksgiving is a holiday that doesn't have that many good movies. I'm sure there's plenty of Hallmark Thanksgiving movies. So if that's your thing, by all means. I don't hate myself, and I try enjoy watching movies that are actually well made and engaging. And so that's what this is. This is a list of 5 movies that I think everybody can enjoy. They're very broad, they're very accessible, and some of them are conventional to the holiday, some of them are unconventional to the holiday, and we'll get into that. I'm not going to be mentioning like schlocky horror Thanksgiving movies, although I do recommend, if you are a horror fan, to watch Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, which, by the way, I did a review of. I'll put in the description below, so if anyone's interested in that, that's a fun, pretty gnarly slasher that I very much enjoyed. But no, I'm making movies that are very, like I said, very accessible and have the vibes of Thanksgiving that revolve around the themes of the holiday, the overall look and feel of the holiday. Those are the films that I've included on this list. And this list isn't ranked. I mean, these are all great movies in their own right. And if you're looking for something to watch during the month of November to get you in the mood for Thanksgiving, I think you really can't go wrong with any of these movies. So with that being said, let's get into it. So at number 5, obviously, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It is the greatest Thanksgiving movie. And it's basically a perfect movie. It's John Hughes's best film, although my favorite of his still might be Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's definitely the one I watched the most, but I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Steve Martin and John Candy are at the height of their comedic abilities here. They play off each other so amazingly well. The movie is overall funny. It's heartwarming and even at times kind of heart-wrenching. It's highly rewatchable. It's kind of like the Christmas equivalent. It's kind of like Christmas Vacation for me in that they're both written by John Hughes and they're both movies that I have to watch every holiday season. It feels wrong if I don't watch them. And so this is the best Thanksgiving movie, hands down. And most people have seen it, but if you're one of the few who haven't, what are you doing? You got to watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's delightful in every single way. Okay, number 4, we have a film that's not quite as beloved as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but it's one that I love, and that is Son-in-Law with Pauly Shore. Yes, this is a Thanksgiving movie. The plot revolves around Pauly's character, who plays a Pauly Shore-like character named Crawl. He ends up befriending a South Dakota girl who goes to college in California, and she turns into a classic crazy California chick. And he goes back with her on Thanksgiving break to visit the family in South Dakota, and it's classic ridiculous, stupid, fish out of water kind of humor. But if you're in the mood to watch something that's lighthearted, that's dumb, but is also legitimately fun and entertaining to watch, this is a good one. I mean, and it is a legitimate Thanksgiving movie. Thanksgiving is part of the movie. It's silly, it's dumb, but I've always had a soft spot for it. And it's probably Pauly Shore's best movie. But if you don't like Pauly Shore, odds are you won't like this movie and you'll think it's dumb, and then you'll judge me for recommending it. If you don't like Pauly Shore, don't bother with it. But if you're like me and you're like, you know what? He can be funny in some movies. There's certainly a lot of movies where he's terrible. I've never even finished Biodome because that movie looks like just a headache waiting to happen. But Son-in-Law, I think Pauly Shore's particular brand of humor works really well in this movie because it's fish out of water stuff. It's a guy who's never been to the Midwest. He's not familiar with farm life, and he has to, acclimate to the best of his abilities. It's cliched, it's ridiculous, it's all these things, but it's funny. I enjoy it. It's I guess you would say it's somewhat of a guilty pleasure. But I'm still putting it on the list because it's a Thanksgiving movie, damn it. And I don't know. I like it. I like Son-in-Law. All right, at number 3, we have Scent of a Woman. Scent of a Woman is actually somewhat of a controversial film amongst Al Pacino fans and enthusiasts, of which I am a huge Al Pacino fan. The reason the film's controversial is because this is the movie that Al Pacino won his one and only Oscar for. Is this Al Pacino's best movie? Absolutely not. Should he have already won an Oscar by the time Scent of a Woman came out? Yes, he should have won two. One for Dog Day Afternoon and one for Godfather Part 2, two of my favorite movies ever. But regardless, he didn't have any control over that. And does that take away from Scent of a Woman? No, Scent of a Woman is it's just a really enjoyable kind of, heartwarming drama about a blind guy and this kid who's tasked to take care of him, this college kid who ends up getting involved with a little bit of a college scandal. And that all coalesces at the end of the movie, which is a classic scene, which I'm a big fan of. But Al Pacino is really good in the movie. I mean, his character is over the top. It's larger than life, but it's appropriate for how the character is written, and Al Pacino plays that character very well. It's kind of goofy in some parts, but overall, it's a movie that I have no problem watching. And I've seen it several times, and I do tend to watch it around Thanksgiving because, once again, this movie takes place around that time. And it's got that fall vibe. It's got that cozy vibe. And I just think it's a fun, entertaining movie that I think should be watched at least once. It's a movie that it's easy to watch. This is not a challenging movie. It's just a well-made dramatic film that has some moments of comedy, some moments of romance, and some moments of some character developing drama and all this stuff. And my only complaint is that it runs a little long. It feels a little bit bloated. It's well over 2 hours. But it's an easy movie to watch, and I enjoy it, and it totally falls in the parameters of a Thanksgiving movie. It's certainly better than any Hallmark Thanksgiving movie you'll ever see, I'll guarantee that. And who doesn't love seeing Al Pacino, just smearing the screen with his acting chops? Even if it isn't his best role, it's still a fun character, and he's very good in the movie. So, Scent of a Woman, number 3. These last two movies aren't Thanksgiving movies in the traditional sense, in that there's a Thanksgiving scene or the story revolves around the holiday of Thanksgiving, but both of these movies have themes of family, which is kind of the main thing around Thanksgiving, and it has the fall vibe. That cozy, leaves are on the ground, the skies are a little bit gray and there's like some fog, but it makes you want to curl up by a fire, drink some tea. That's what these next two movies are to me. So at number 2, we have Fantastic Mr. Fox. I am a big Wes Anderson fan, although I have to admit I haven't been a fan of his recent output of movies. Didn't really enjoy Isle of Dogs all that much. Was kind of lukewarm on the French, what was it called? The French Dispatch. Haven't seen Asteroid City yet, but as of late, his movies have been feeling kind of stale, kind of predictable, kind of, he's fallen too much into his own Wes Anderson-iness, if that makes any sense. But Fantastic Mr. Fox ranks very highly for me as being one of my favorites of his. I'd probably put it in my top 5, maybe even top 3. I really love this movie, but I also really love Rushmore and Grand Budapest Hotel and the Royal Tenenbaums. But yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox has the palette of a Thanksgiving movie, beautiful uses of yellow, orange, and brown colors, and it's about a fox, a father who's trying to keep his family together and also can't help being a rambunctious and little thieving fox, so he gets himself into some trouble. There's some good character stuff, and the movie is hysterical. It's one of the funniest movies. It's one of the funniest animated movies, period. It's one of the funniest stop-motion animation movies, and that's another thing. The stop-motion in this movie is terrific. It's lovely. Once again, this is one of the coziest movies to watch, and it fits perfectly during the month of November to watch this movie. And any excuse to watch this movie once a year, I will take, because it is just so lovely and cozy and funny. George Clooney the cast is stacked. You should look up the voice cast of this movie. It's absolutely incredible. Everybody's amazing. George Clooney in particular, who plays the lead fox, The way he delivers the lines, his kind of laid back attitude, it fits perfectly for the character. Really inspired casting there. And of course, it's a Wes Anderson movie, so the soundtrack is fantastic. There's a great needle drop of the Rolling Stones Street Fighting Man, one of my favorite songs ever. So yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I think it fits as a Thanksgiving movie, if any, like maybe like an alternative Thanksgiving movie, like not Thanksgiving in the traditional sense, but kind of has those vibes during this time of the year. And if you've seen the thumbnail to this video, number one should be no surprise, and that's Knives Out, the movie I literally just got done watching about a half hour ago. I love Knives Out. It is one of my favorite movies of the 2010s. It's a movie that I've revisited numerous times, and similar to that of Fantastic Mr. Fox, the overall visual sensibilities of this movie just scream November fall time. You know, there's cozy sweaters being worn in the film. There's plenty of leaves. There is a family that is absolutely insane and dysfunctional, and that's also very relatable during the time of Thanksgiving for a lot of people out there. Hopefully not to the extent of the characters in Knives Out, because these characters are, oh boy, they are scummy, but that makes the movie all the more fun. It is a brilliant deconstruction of the traditional murder mystery. I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but like when the murder happens, I was like, what? I had no idea where this movie was going to go after I saw that scene where I'm like, what is going on? Like the way Rian Johnson plays around with the conventions of the murder mystery is highly satisfying. Genuinely, like when you first watch it, you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like that was me. I was like, I had no clue what was going to happen, which is what you want in a mystery film. On top of that, it is hilarious. Everybody in the cast is outstanding. Ana de Armas, who is terrific in the movie. Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Don Johnson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Christopher Plummer. Who else am I missing? Toni Collette. Oh God, I love Toni Collette. So like just a stacked cast. Everybody's awesome in it. The mystery is genuinely engaging. The movie's funny. It's suspenseful. It's suspenseful as hell at times, where it's like, oh my God, like I said, I didn't know what was going to happen. The pace is consistent, and the vibes are fall, November, Thanksgiving time vibes. The movie never specifies what time of the year this is taking place, like in terms of like a specific month, but why not November? Because it gives me an excuse to watch it during the month of November to get me ready for Thanksgiving. And so, yes, I think for all of those reasons and the fact that it's a dysfunctional family and it's just craziness, I think for all those reasons, Knives Out qualifies as a wonderful alternative Thanksgiving movie. So anyway, guys, that's my list. This isn't going to be like, I'm not going to do like a month-long thing of me picking like Thanksgiving movies like I did for October. This month I'm going to basically review whatever movies I feel like talking about. We're going back to the random movie review format as opposed to what we did for Spooktober, which is where I kept it all spooky movies all month long, which I'm going to do for every Spooktober. But yeah, this is I wanted to do at least one kind of Thanksgiving holiday themed video, and this is it. So let me know what you guys think about this list. Let me know which of these movies are your favorites. Let me know which ones you haven't seen before. And if you have any suggestions for other Thanksgiving movies, list them in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching.